right, we're on Terumot, Perek Bet, Mishnah Vav, the sixth Mishnah, the last Mishnah in Perek Bet. So the Mishnah says the following. We're going to talk about this, an idea called that you're not allowed to be, or you're not supposed to be Terem min hara al hayafeh. Rather, you're Terem min hayafeh al hara. This is actually a continuation of something we learned in the last Mishnah, where Rabbi Yehuda said that you should be Terem. We're talking about Bitzalem mibnei Medina ala kufrim, that you take truma from the politicians' onions, the better onions, better than the village onions. So this is a continuation of that. It says the Mishnah, "V'tarmin zeitei shemen al zeitei kevesh." Zeitei kevesh are pickling olives. So therefore, if I have two batches of olives, some olives I'm going to use for oil, and some olives I'm going to use in order to pickle them. I'm going to put them in brine. So the zeitei shemen are better olives. So therefore, I should take truma from zeitei shemen for the zeitei kevesh. V'lo zeitei kevesh al zeitei shemen. I should not take from zeitei kevesh on zeitei shemen. I shouldn't take from the pickling and give it to the Kohen in order to be motzi my olives that I'm going to motzi my olives that I'm not going to give to the Kohen that I'm going to use for shemen. Similarly, v'yayin she'eno muvushal ala muvushal. I take truma from yayin she'eno muvushal, uncooked wine, for cooked wine. V'lo mina muvushal al she'eno muvushal, and I shouldn't take from muvushal, from cooked wine on uncooked wine. As we all know, yayin muvushal is lesser quality, and that's one of the reasons why Chazal permitted you to eat yain, to drink yain muvushal that was touched by a non-Jew, whereas yain she'eno muvushal you're not allowed to drink. It was touched by a non-Jew. Any good sommelier will also tell you that yain muvushal, cooked wine, is dead wine. The wine will never develop. The taste is static, as opposed to yain she'eno muvushal, the bacteria is still alive and it continues to improve. And any decent wine, especially here in Israel, there is almost, you almost can't get yayin muvushal. You have to look for it specifically, because every good wine is lo muvushal. Zaklau. So this is the rule. Kol shu kilayim b'chaveiro, meaning kilayim means there are different meanings, so I can't plant them together. Then lo yitro mizel zeh. Afilu min hayafeh al hara. You can't take truma from one to the other, even from the better produce on the worse. Obviously, because we said you can't take from min b'sheinu mino. But anything, any species that it's not kilayim to one to another, i.e. they're the same species, then then you can take truma from the better produce on the worse produce, but not on the worse produce on the better produce. But truma, if you took from the bad stuff for the good stuff, then truma, then it is considered like truma. Your truma is truma, because this rule of not min hara yafeh is a lechatchila rule. It's not a b'di'evid rule. B'di'evid, it's permitted. So the Kahati pointed me to a Gemara in Yevamot. The Gemara asks exactly this question: how do you know that you're allowed to, that if you take from hara ala tova? So this Gemara says, I'll just show you the Gemara. The Gemara says, Rabbi Eli. That's truma midoraita, that's truma me'al yatak. If you took from hara'a ala tova, it's truma me'al yatak. Dam Rabbi Eli. Rabbi Eli said, Minayim the Torah min hara'a ala yafeh. She's truma to truma. How do you know if you took from the ra'a on the yafeh, from the bad onto the good, that it is truma dichtiv? V'lo tisu alav chet ba'ribchem et chalbo mimenu. Okay, so the Torah says, this is in Bamidbar Perek Yud Chet Pasuk Lamed. Okay. Where are we? Here we are. At the end, it says, it's talking about when you gave truma. And you shouldn't have a sin when you take the chelev from it. That we said, chelev is the best. So we'll go back to the Gemara. That's exactly the pasuk. Move myself out of the way. Okay. Says the Gemara, kadosh, lama. If it says, you won't have to be sinful. When he says, if it's not holy, if I took from the ala tova, if it wasn't truma, then why would there be nisiut chet? Mikan, from this we learn, since it says v'lo tisu alav chet, that you shouldn't be a sin, that there is an opportunity for a person to give truma, but it's still sinful. I.e., when I take ala min hara'a ala tova. From this we learn, mikan the terem min hara'a ala yafa, shetrumato truma, that your truma is truma. The Mishnah continues. Let's finish the Mishnah. The Mishnah says, okay, Chutz miso im tara min ara le'afa trumato truma. Okay, all these rules apply. Chutz min hazunin ala chitim. Zunim were these seeds. We learned in Kilayim, Perik Aleph, Mishnah Aleph, that chita and zunim, the chitim and zunim, are not Kilayim zeh bazeh. So they're these kinds of seeds that grew amongst the wheat. And the Mishnah said they were not truma. Nonetheless, she'enam ochel, the zunim are not ochel, they would save them, there were these black seeds that grew, and they would save them for ma'achal yonim, for bird seed. So therefore I can't take, even though zunim and chitim were not considered kilayim zeh bazeh, the zunim are, you can't take off zunim to give truma. Ve'akishut ve'hamelafafon, kishut is some kind of squash. Melafafon was a melon in their time. Min echa, those are considered one min. And I've said before, we have no idea what kishut and melafafon in their time really was. Okay, we can guess what they were. I can look it up in English, which I probably will do. Okay, kishut and melafafon. And we learned in the Kilayim that they're not Kilayim zeh bazeh, none they're one min. Rabbi Yehuda says they are shnei minim, they are two minim, and therefore you couldn't take off truma one from the other. We learned this halacha in Kilayim Perik Aleph Mishnah. It's interesting, today kishut is a squash and a melafafon is a cucumber. But I think it's really a kind of, a kishut was a melon, and a melafafon was kind of a squash. Nonetheless, Chazal said it's a machloket. Is it one min or... Okay, we'll stop here. Let me see if I can get this. If you have any comments or questions, rspolter@gmail.com as always. And we'll dedicate the learning to the memory of my father, Rav Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman. Have a great day.